Okay, yes. Hello, class. Please be seated. First, I'm going to read from the orientation letter. Okay, here we go. Orientation letter. Welcome to the planet Earth. For starters, all the land has been taken. You've been alive for 14 years, and you can't remember some of your life. Our species is called Homo sapiens. We say humans for short. We don't live very long. Life expectancy is about 73 years. We've only been keeping history for about 8,000 years. The last 2,500 years have been good. I've enjoyed them. And only the last 500 years have been exceptionally good. So anything beyond 8,000 years ago, we know nothing about, essentially. But yeah. Anyway, good news. We beat the elements of this cruel world. So food, shelter, and safety have been conquered. You've noticed, haven't you? We live in an extreme abundance, and we humans live differently than any other creature on this planet. Birds don't have cars, for instance. Scientists call this difference general intelligence. Scholars call it wisdom. Religion calls it shame. After all, animals are not ashamed to be naked. So we have used this general intelligence to solve problems. We've solved the food problem, the lack of food, by farming and herding. The process of cultivating plants on a mass scale is called farming. For animals, we call it herding. The two foods humans eat are plants and animals. Also fungi, but that's beyond the scope of orientation. Plants are useful because we make more of them by putting what they grow, seeds, fruits, and veggies, in the ground. And that produces more of them. Animals are cool because some of them have a lot of children. We call those litters. Yes, we kill animals and eat them. It's sad. Cow, chicken, pigs, sheep are the most common ones that we eat. Yes, there's more to learn about farming and herding, but that's beyond the scope of orientation. We also use animals for food and clothes. Clothes are used for warmth. Oh yes, I forgot to mention, humans wear clothes because sometimes it's cold outside and we get embarrassed. We are different after all. I suppose I now need to explain objects to you. Every object you see is either some kind of rock or some kind of plant, essentially. Technically, plastics are like oil, but oil is like old, dead remains of dinosaurs and yada, yada, yada. We're not going to talk about plastics. It's beyond the scope of orientation. In fact, we call these things objects. Plants, specifically lumber and rocks, have been the resources for constructing shelter. We have optimized, standardized, and specified the best building materials so far, just like with farming and with herding. The best rocks are concrete, bricks, and steel. Those are the ones that we've used most. These rocks are man-made, in fact. They are mixtures of different rocks. A while ago, we discovered a way to view these objects at smaller and smaller units, down to meters, centimeters, nanometers. And what we discovered was that objects are made of elements. We then documented all of the elements. That's called the periodic table. The smallest units of an element we have, that we know about so far, is an atom. And I know there are quarks, but quarks are beyond the scope of this video, or at least orientation. Atoms are made up of protons, electrons, and neutrons. In the center of an atom, called a nucleus, is a collection of protons. The number of protons an atom will determine the element's identity. Some common ones are oxygen and hydrogen. Neutrons are in the nucleus as well, and are beyond the scope of orientation. Fusion and ions, just a little bit lost. I wouldn't recommend them. Electrons are much smaller than both protons and neutrons. Electrons don't reside in the nucleus, however, but instead orbit the nucleus of an atom. These are how elements interact. However, covalent bonds are beyond the scope of this orientation. To summarize my previous ramblings and from the previous paragraphs, our society has optimized farming and herding and building. And we discovered that all objects are made of atoms. Even you. Did I forget to mention we live in a society? You see, we have found it useful to work together to achieve a common goal. The more people, humans, we put to work, the easier and quicker it is to produce food. But society also comes with negatives: pride, jealousy, oppression, war, and competition. Social hierarchy and class systems. Hooray! Yay! Because of these things, societies have claimed land and tried to make it their own. Now, there is nothing wrong with making a home, but sometimes it comes at the expense of other humans. In the past, different societies have battled each other for land. Because, well, you see, there isn't a lot of land. You see, we live on a planet. We call it Earth. It's a sphere. It's pretty big. Most of it is water, and humans can't live on water. Not yet, anyways. And only some of the land is good land. What I mean is, some of the land is either too cold or too hot. And humans can't live in places where it's too cold and too hot. So there is only a small amount of good land for society to call home. This is why battles between societies occur. And you're born in the middle of it. These societies elect leaders, or leaders take power, and give themselves names, and we call these entities nation states. Our society, or maybe not if you live somewhere else, is called the United States of America. We already conquered the world. Sorry for those wishing to rule with an iron fist or wishing to explore the unexplored. There is no more hidden lands on this world. In fact, our species, humans, rule this earth. The United Nations is the governing body of the different societies of the world. They deal with disputes among nation states, hold people accountable to their action, trade deals, loan monies to countries, and to enforce justice. How the UN became ruler of this planet is beyond the scope of this orientation. The short answer is the United States of America. The long answer is the Nazis. A longer answer would be Woodrow Wilson. An even longer answer than that, it's Metternich's fault. Blame could then be shifted to Napoleon, Robespierre, then blame shifted down towards the England overtaxing colonies. Or I suppose you could blame Louis XIV. You could blame Henry VIII and Peter the Great, the Habsburgs and the Papal Estates. Afterward, Genghis Khan is to blame, only if the Abbasids and the Umayyads and the Rashidins or Justinians had done things differently. We might not be under the UN. Maybe if Constantine had kept the capital in Rome, if only Rome hadn't fell, or if Aurelius hadn't fallen ill, if only Antony beat Caesar, or perhaps if Brutus and Cassius were more decisive. Anyway, the long answer is Philip II of Macedon. 350 baby BC, let's go! Yeah. But all of that is beyond the scope of the orientation. More importantly, is the goal. And our goal as well. Our goal is to find out where do you fit into society. You are currently sitting in your first day of freshman year and you've got no goals for your life. Let's fix that. Let's start with the purpose of school. The purpose of school is to make you a millionaire. Yes, contrary to popular belief, school is designed to socialize, curate, and expedite your maturity. We are training you to be adults. I hate to break it to you, kids. You're 14, and it's time to start adapting to fit into society. Luckily, school is infinitely harder than real life. As you can probably tell, other kids are mean. In fact, your teachers are mean. Some of you have even found even your parents are mean. We live in a very chaotic world. That requires tough, timely decisions. The purpose of school is to prepare you for this. Because life is so unpredictable, school has ordered your learning appropriately. Instead of reinventing the wheel, we will learn from other people and how they got rich. Lawyers. So, lawyers are rich, so you'll learn English. Doctors are rich, so you should learn biology. Computer scientists are rich, so you should probably learn something about tech. Finance managers are rich. You should probably have math as well. And why history? For some reason, those who love history always end up leading a country. Alexander, Napoleon, Obama, Roosevelt, Julius Caesar, Frederick the Great, Catherine the Great, Empress Wu, etc. You must remember, young 14-year-old, that you are young. In 14 years, you will be 28. So from birth till now, all that you just lived, from zero, from the moment you were born to right now, you are going to have to live that again. How much have you changed in those 14 years? By the time you're 28, you'll be a completely different person. And adults, and your teachers, your parents, and your family is here to help. And if they aren't here to help, call the police. No, but seriously, call the police. There will be times though where you'll have to make a tough decision, and what is best, and ultimately choose what is best for you. After all, we can only change the chaotic world when we are properly oriented. So, consider yourself oriented. Let's build a future for you.